Good evening. My name is Gabriel Ricard, and I'm going to read to you tonight from Love and Quarters, uh, my new poetry collection available from Moran Press. Let's get right into it. This is called The Hitmakers Were Jealous. It wasn't quite summer yet, so it was one of those beach towns that was bracing itself for the possibility of a long season of hopelessness. The hotel didn't want us there. The streets wouldn't be paved with invisible gold until July. Children threw rocks from the open windows of borrowed cars. All that sand on the sidewalk was old, worn out, and it kept reminding me of a completely different town that was probably no better or worse than this one. And the clouds may as well have been overweight, stoned elephants, with the way they lazily implied all the verbal abuse they were capable of. And that one snow cone guy probably dreamed of suicide every half hour, or at least of getting back the guys from the garbage band that ruled Layla Street for 6 amazing weeks. But we didn't try to fill in a single unhappy blank. We were embarrassingly silly when it rained Saturday afternoon, but we weren't being too romantic about things. There were 2 or 3 kisses that kind of grabbed the idea of time travel and turned its spine into a toy railroad track that eventually gets back to where it started. I don't think either of us ever took that mini golf game seriously. We were both amazed that I had enough acumen to put on pants for the indifferent kid who brought us Chinese food. You're the only one I've ever met who could write a book about their tattoos that I'd actually want to read. But we weren't too romantic. We didn't forget that it was the kind of hotel that was going to have our stuff out on the sidewalk Sunday at 11, but we didn't exactly talk about it either. It was good enough to know that we had a whole weekend at home, and a whole weekend tucked neatly away from everything we had gone through separately over the past couple of years. It wasn't something we had to bring up every time the evening fixed us into a slow-motion sensation. That was The Hitmakers Were Jealous. Let's do another one. This one's called Bye Bye Loose Change. We should just try to be out of here before the superheroes gone mad show up and take us to one of those new age fetish clubs by helicopter. Leaving early is fine by me. I've never really been a big fan of rides for the sake of finding love, or meeting people who remember video arcades and phones with cords, and the kids aren't as romantic as they think they are. And the soundtrack has all these visuals that just don't really make any sense being there. I guess they just want to watch the world burn, like that line in that movie that made enough money to build a soup kitchen in a strip club. Or a strip club in a soup kitchen. We never did work out which one would make more sense. We were too busy tumbling headfirst into the silence of 2 awkward space invaders, realizing at the exact same time that what the other was saying and what was going on in those sort of dreamy eyes were 2 completely different monsters of charm and scope. We shouldn't be here. We should be checking into a cheap Manhattan hotel for the weekend. We should be trying really hard to work competently and to not talk over the other out of sheer adrenaline. What in the hell is wrong with this place? I'd marry you even sooner than I'd like to in the romantic empire of your choice. If you could figure out some way that we could run time like a fixed light. One where the challenger can smile with electric shocks, and where the champion can feel the wind through his hair when the wind rips the roof right off the best ride in town. We can't do a thing, but I have evidence, scientific evidence, that we can do something about this place. It's the same old trouble here. The birds here have children who fly into the exact same power lines their parents did. Do we need this kind of thing? Wouldn't you rather kiss me as though 1,000 crazed admirers are rushing to say hello, in a place where the license plates are moving by too quickly for us to figure out where we are? I'll love you for a very long time, even if we stay in this parking lot dance hall until the fall lineup turns the badasses into flowers, the harlots into pumpkins, the thrill seekers into honey that jams up the engine of an old car, the idiots into dry words you wouldn't even give to a destitute greeting card. I'd love you even if I had a lot of other things to do. I just think we're better than most of our weekends. Well, you are. I get the construction paper ribbon by default. Anthems to spare. We had anthems to spare. Some of them weren't too bad in retrospect. Discussions of grandeur went smoothly, and we didn't take any shit from the giants that watched us waste another Sunday morning. My heart took 3 days to get to anywhere good, on buses that were living in the past, borrowing time from the stoned middle school kids who clearly put the universe together on a hazy bed. My body always took another 3 days to catch up. All that courtship stuff almost never worked out. The short-term doomsday clock that moves and cuts like a whirlwind is a little better now. Yeah. But back then, I had a lot of very funny, very cruel things to say about the people who had the good sense to burn their losses. It was always the same. I'd come back home, bring a few of us together, and make a weekend out of getting lost in the 80s anime city that I wanted to build. And I could do it too. With those anthems living on a mixed, dangerous standby, loose change products swaying nervously in my palm, and our clones paying taxes in another lifetime, I could accomplish a lot of really promising things. 10 minutes. It never took longer than that for my fits to give me dreams that had good sense enough to be real enough, or to seem real enough. I think we could do one more. Alright, one more. This is called Temporary Good from Thin Air. We've got plenty of places to park the car. You can ignore the people just like you 100 yards away and a dozen years behind what you did with so little money and so few people who couldn't be trusted for anything. Left with nothing, eyes opening as though something is gently forcing life into your evening, the stars coming out to lead you back to the cops, back home. And they are not quite the sea of handsome geniuses that they used to be. We don't have absolution. These homes are not for sale. What we will do is give you a variety of 3-hour alternatives. And then we ask that you put her typewriter classy notes back in your pocket, quietly. Then make your way out of here, without a single scratch or third-degree burn, to prove you paused here to get away from it all. Forgive us, but our reputation is really all we have. And we already have a century's worth of people failing at recovery. So yeah, that's Love and Quarters. Available now from Moran Press. Artwork by Raymond J. Kilburn. So go check out his artwork too. There's also some great books available from Moran Press by Austin Davis, Stephen Moran, and others. And thank you.